It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown to Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the 3rd day of January 2022. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Oakey, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. On Twitter at XB Mornings. Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television and viewing audience on BCSN and over on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Find our podcast, listen back to anything you may have missed on demand by visiting Google, Apple, Spotify, and, of course, the iHeartRadio app. MichiganSportsNetwork.com is the website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us individually on Twitter. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are you? How's life? How are things? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year. Haven't really talked to you guys. What's up?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What a long weekend. Crazy, scary situation last night. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, very busy weekend with the college football playoff, all of the bowl games, the NFL slate, and then, of course, last night's incident that took place between the Bills and the Bengals that shut everything down there. So, yeah, it's there was just a lot happening. And it's, it's very unfortunate what took place last night on Monday Night Football. The NFL making the right call. All of people's outrage on Twitter, I'm sure, really just well pointed at the league. They didn't know what was going on, and we'll talk more about this. But, I mean, they get the 5-minute window, throw that out there. Let's figure out what's going on. Yeah, everything's happening in real time. They made the right call. It is what it is. I'm not going to throw stones at the NFL for trying to figure out things as it's happening in real time. It's a lot to undertake now. It's a lot from a scheduling standpoint. It's a lot to try to figure out how to get the rest of the everything to work for both of these franchises now moving forward. When are they going to play each other? I mean, this was a massive game with playoff implications that got called last night because a player just collapsed out on the field. So it's a lot to do on the league's part here, and it's just a very, very unfortunate situation for all involved, including.
It stinks. Will the game get played? There has to be some sort of playoff implications with both of these teams. So you would assume
it's got to get played. So are they going to go back? Are they going to try to play it tonight? Are they going? I don't know. I really don't know. That's why it took so long for them to figure out if they were going to call it or not, as everyone's just wigging out, losing their mind on the internet. They just go suspend this game, call this game. It's like, look, yeah, they're more than likely going to, but there's a lot more at stake than just calling the game and saying, oh, we'll make it up later. Like, they got to figure out how they're going to get this game played.
Yeah, and when you see all the journalists yelling, cancel the game, NFL, you have to do this, that meant nothing. When you have players like Ryan Clark coming out, Leonard Fournette, one of the best football players to ever play, Charles Woodson, yelling, cancel the game right now, that's where when I was like, all right, I think they need to postpone the game. When you have a sea of former players saying, no, don't put them through, postpone the game. I think that those words weigh heavier than whatever blue check mark is saying.
Yeah, and the NFL had to have a conversation with the Players Association.
And good for the Zach Taylor of the Bengals when that 5-minute window was proposed. He goes, no, we're going to go to the locker room. 'Cause even though as a Bills player, he goes, they have enough to handle on their own. Like, no, we're not taking just 5 minutes. Like, we just saw a dude get his life resurrected on the field.
Yeah, it was when you first saw it, it's like, okay, well, you expect there to be some massive helmet-to-helmet collision. One of the tackles that maybe we saw throughout the course of the College Bowl weekend, right, where it's like what is targeting, what is not targeting. You'd expect to see something like that, but it's almost, I don't know if this is the right way to put it, but it's almost scarier when that doesn't happen. It gets up, he starts to walk away, and then boom, straight down to the ground. It's like, oh, okay, all right, hold on here. What's going on? When you have CPR being administered to Damar Hamlin down in the field before he was leaving in an ambulance, like it's a scary situation. And there were some old school journalists, some folks that have been around that have covered some different incidents like this in the NFL world, and I thought that their perspective was very interesting as well, as they brought up some old articles, some different times that this has happened and what that was like. It's happened to the Lions. So it's a tough situation for all involved. There's no doubt about that. All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
So the league announced that the Packers and Lions game at Lambeau Field will be the final game of the regular season. It'll be held on Sunday night for Sunday Night Football at 8:20 Eastern. The headline says the NFL sets Packers winning in game for Week 18 SNF slot. Just so you know how this is going to be covered and what you should be prepared for.
Well, for now, it could be a potential win, and you're in for the Lions also, but only it is for Green Bay right now.
Correct. But it is a must-win for the Lions, because if they lose, then we'll know.
It doesn't matter. It could be a nothing burger for the Lions,
which would be really sad. Really sad. Jeff Saturday, head coach of the Colts, said the Kayvon Thibodeau Snow Angel celebration was trash. Nick Foles was carted to the locker room after getting hit by Kayvon Thibodeau, who laid down next to Foles and was doing a snow angel, and then made the sleeping motion as Foles was carried off. He then made the excuse that he didn't see it, yada, yada, yada. That's a bad look right there, Kayvon Thibodeau. Bad look. The Finns are prepping Skylar Thompson or Teddy Two Gloves in their finale. Tua Tagovailoa, it doesn't look like there will be a timetable for him to return from concussion protocol that will get him ready to go for the finale. How about Donovan Mitchell last night? Scored a franchise record at 71 points as the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Chicago Bulls in overtime, 145-134. 71. Cavs rallied from down 21 against the Bulls. He had the game-tying bucket, and then, of course, that monster.
Most since the Kobe game.
Oh, I guess, that would make sense. Kobe's 80. Wow. That's the most points. And Lucas put up a few games of 50, but yeah, when you start to get in
Luka had a 61 range, last week.
That's crazy. Klay Thompson said he's going to embrace the heck out of his 54-point night. He had a big night last night, helping the Golden State
well,
Warriors.
Bum only getting 54.
Yeah, right. Like, what were you thinking? They had to take Atlanta to overtime, 143 to 141. LeBron James went for 43, going 40-plus for the second straight game as the Lakers picked up a W, and Zion Williamson exited the Pelicans' loss early with a hamstring strain. The Pistons were on the road late night last night. They got beat by the Blazers 135 to 106. We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get more for your money and kick off the new year with Meijer. Start your wellness journey with buy one, get one free vitamins or supplements. And enjoy delicious meals with deals like 80% lean ground beef for $2.99 per pound. Taylor Farms salad chopped kids, 2 for $6. And Lean Cuisine or Stouffer's frozen meals, just $2.48 with M-Perks. Plus, pay the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
When you're in construction, you know that every minute matters and every dollar counts. You've got materials to purchase, employees to pay, and deadlines to meet. What you don't have is time to worry about your accounting, taxes, or ways to grow your business. That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is construction, our business is helping you run your business better. From tax planning, payroll processing, or R&D credit studies, we're here for you with concrete advice and answers. Let us help you build a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're a subcontractor, developer, architect, or engineer, of all the things you build, make your business the strongest. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. I know that we're going to talk to John Wagner on college football coming up at 7:35. What a weekend it was in the world of college football. A double dip of great college football playoff semifinal games that took place on Saturday, and then of course the full slate of bowl games yesterday that were a lot of fun. And yes, I have my Michigan sweatshirt on today, folks. Some early reaction, quick thoughts, because we're going to do Lions next at 6:35 and their dominant victory, their home finale against the Chicago Bears. But that game between Michigan and TCU was basically the Murphy's Law of football, if you will, in my opinion, for Michigan. Like, whatever could have gone wrong went wrong for the Maize and Blue. And it's unfortunate that it happened that way. But at no point in that game did I feel like they came out with the same story. I know that they had talked about it was going to be it's a business trip, and they had been there before and they're very locked in. I didn't feel that. It did not feel the same as it did for Ohio State. I thought the TCU came out, pretty strong, pretty fast, stopping Michigan down inside, the 2-yard line, and Michigan
That's
running
when
a
it felt
Philly special
different.
play was just like, this is, and one of the TCU linebackers had said as much. Like, the minute they had to run a trick play at the goal line, we knew we had them. That's kind of how it felt.
Because it's like, Michigan, what do you do? You have the best offensive line. You have probably the best Allegedly, but still. Your bread and butter is what has made this Harbaugh, return to glory the last 2 years. It's just been, we are going to push it down your throat. We're going to run up the middle. Stop us. You're at the 2-yard line.
Couldn't get 2 yards.
Do it.
Couldn't get 2 yards. Just could not. I mean, it was, I hate the play call, the reverse. I didn't like it when it happened. If anything, I'm a big stretch play action naked boot guy. It's tough to do that at that point of the field just because you're running out of space. And I thought that, once again, the Joe Moore Award, I don't want to win that award ever again. I don't care about that award at all. That award is a curse. I mean, TCU's defense spent their entire afternoon in the backfield of Michigan making sandwiches.
But the first play of the game was a 60-yard run.
54. Yeah.
But yeah,
felt great.
Right.
That was like, oh, wow, look at that. And then, oh, no, look at this. And then you even forced TCU to punt, right, at their own 18-yard line. So you feel pretty good. You got the ball at your own 34. Okay, all right, let's get this thing back. And then pick six, 1 of 2 happened throughout the course of that game. Bud Clark jumped the route, cut it off, and played it perfectly from a secondary position. I mean, that's what you want your DBs to be able to do. J.J. McCarthy, it's a tough throw to make. That's a pro throw right there. Across the field, far hash on the out route. Underthrew it. Just flat out underthrew it. And a point, you can't do that. Like, at that, when you're making that throw, you can't throw that football. If you're going to miss, you got to miss. You got to miss deep. Miss that thing into the sidelines. TCU got that pick six. That felt bad. Michigan was forced to punt on their next possession. TCU came down the field, looking like the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech, and just, put together a service academy drive, 12 plays, 76 yards in 5 minutes, and it was like, this is bad. That's when it was like, okay, you get an interception, you start to feel good, and then we'll fumble it away after the Roman Wilson called back touchdown to place the ball first down and goal to go at the TCU 1. You try to hand it to your fullback and it's a fumble. It was just, Anything that could have went wrong for the Wolverines. They did not play a good football game. That is what makes football very, very unique in their tournament setup. Very much like the NCAA tournament. You don't have to be the best team all season. You just got to be good for 40 minutes at a time, or for this for our sake here in football, for 4 quarters at a time. I don't think that TCU is necessarily the better team, but they had a much, much better day than the Michigan Wolverines did. And if you are a Michigan fan, I thought about this as there was some disappointment. Went to a gathering to watch the football game. A lot of screaming at the television, a lot of hooting and hollering. It's typically why I don't go anywhere, and I'd rather just watch it by myself in the comfort of my own home. But you look at where this team is at now in comparison to where they were at in 2016, 2017, 2008, 2013. Pick any year you want between the end of the Lloyd Carr era with that final Rose Bowl, that 07 Rose Bowl against USC, to where they are at today. Throw a dart at the wall and pick any year. The Rich Rod years, the Brady Hoke years, whatever you would like. If this is the new floor, which was once a ceiling, then I'm okay with that. And with the expanded playoff, it's going to make it a little bit more feasible for more teams like Michigan, like TCU, like Ohio State, to be able to get into the college football playoff. It will also open the door for more teams like Alabama, right? For teams like that to be able to etch their name in. And if USC would have taken care of business, right, there'll be more opportunities for more teams because the playoff is going to have 12 teams, your 6 highest ranked conference champions, and then 6 at large. So you're going to see it be a little bit easier to make the college football playoff. But if this is the new standard, then I think this is good. Now, to make it there last year and to get beat the way that you did, it was like, okay, we made it. That was a lot of fun. What a trip. Let's get back. Okay, now you've done it twice, and this game, you played about as bad as you could. You lost by 6 points, and you played miserably. You have 2 pick sixes out there. Your offensive line is just complete paper mache. TCU, don't want to take anything away from him. You have 2 interceptions. You return them both for touchdowns, like opportunistic in every sense of the word. But I didn't think that, even when the Wolverines were down 21-6 at halftime, I never felt like the Wolverines. Like it always felt like it was just a 0-0 tie ball game. It was like everything kept happening in favor of TCU, and it's like, all right, that's okay. We're still right here. Just turn it on.
Yeah,
flip the switch.
Yeah, see,
when's this going to happen?
There's a difference when it's like when things are happening in the other team's favor versus when you're allowing those things to happen. Like when you're handing the ball to them, that's not good.
It's not good. It's very bad, in fact. Less than ideal, so they say.
Like you can get a bad bounce and when you're just making bad throws, even like a tip, that's
tip
when you make 2 bad throws and they're both returned, that's gonna do you in right there.
Can't do that. Played miserably for 343 yards, 2 scores, and 2 pick sixes. That is a brutal. You have to be able to win the turnover battle. You have to be able to do that. And
this is the one thing I'll say, and I've heard Michigan fans say this throughout the week. It's like, well, I felt we were the better team. I feel like everyone that TCU has beat has come away from their game saying the same thing.
They're a gritty bunch.
They're gritty. They love chaos. They ensue it. They're the better team. They showed it. Look at the score.
Right, yeah, like they had a better game. I don't know if they're the better team.
They are. They beat you.
Okay, so I understand that viewpoint, but I think that when you...
Well, I'm saying, I think it's not just Michigan fans that are, doing this to TCU of, when they came away with a loss to TCU, because TCU doesn't sit there and won't dominate you 50-0. They play dirty, gross, chaotic games. And guess what? They've come out on top versus every opponent that's been on their schedule.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for Kansas State, right? I mean, is Kansas State a better football team at 10-3 than TCU because they beat them heads up? No, they were
1-1 against each other, though.
Better for one day. But are they a better football team? I don't know. I mean,
We just saw it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would personally disagree. I would think that Michigan is a better team. I just think that TCU had a much better day. If you don't fumble inside the 1 yard line, if you don't throw not one but two pick sixes, that ain't even a game. But everything that could have went wrong, and Michigan finds itself college football playoff 2 years in a row, leaving after the semifinals empty-handed, kind of looking around, going, all right, well, now what do we do? One team that didn't leave empty-handed of this weekend was the Detroit Lions, just stomping the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about it next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your Auto Value Auto Parts store is part of a network of more than 300 family-owned stores and are locally run by some of your own friends and neighbors. Every day, we work hard to provide you with all the automotive aftermarket parts and accessories you'll ever need. Name brands, too, like Champion, Seafoam, Wix, Lucas, Mobile, and more. The auto parts you need at the value you've come to expect. So thanks again for shopping locally at Auto Value, where service is the difference. We get it.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. A reminder, new customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. We're live in the great state of Ohio as well as the great state of Michigan, so that's fun for all of our listeners in Northwest Ohio that have been hearing us talk about DraftKings for all this time. Now you can get in on the action as well as of yesterday. Place a $5 pregame money line bet on any NBA team to win. Get $150 in free bets when they do. Use the promo code HUGE, H-U-G-E, only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus issued as free bets. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/basketball terms. Tonight, if you are looking at that and you're like, oh, okay, I might dabble and see. Wizards, Bucks, that game, Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, 8 o'clock NBA TV. I like the Bucks there. It's money line, so no spread involved whatsoever. Wizards, dreadful on the road. Bucks, one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, very good at home. I would lean towards Milwaukee in that one. No free gambling advice here, though, but that would be my pick. All right, let's get into Sunday's action a little bit with a season finale inside Ford Field that was simply just incredible. I am so pleased with what we have seen this year from the Lions. And I know that there's an opportunity, now that we need the Rams to win and the Seahawks to lose, and there are some things that are out of the Lions' control where had they have just beaten Carolina, they would have controlled their destiny. But not focusing on, what could have, should have, would have happened. This game on Sunday against the Bears was a fabulous, fabulous football game, especially with the way that it started with Justin Fields running all over the place in those first two possessions. My goodness, the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, 255, 3 touchdowns. Jamal Williams, 22 carries for 144 yards and a score. DeAndre Swift, 11 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. On the receiving end, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 catches, 62 yards. DeAndre Swift had 4 for 39 with a touchdown. Brock Wright, the tight end, coming on strong here at the end of the year with a couple of touchdown receptions on 3 catches and 13 yards. DJ Chark, 2 for 56. Khalif Raymond, 3 for 40. James Mitchell, 1 for 15, the promising young tight end. Like, what a game it was. And if you were watching the broadcast, you saw this statistic pop up as well, that Aiden Hutchinson became the first NFL rookie with 7.5 sacks, 3+ interceptions, and 2+ fumble recoveries in a single season. So congratulations to Hutch. Joined by his running mate, James Houston, once he finally got healthy. 7.5 sacks in 6 career games, the most all-time in his first 6 NFL games. How great is that from Houston?
Yeah,
who has just been he's a professional sacker. That's what he does. He rushes the quarterback. That's where his bread and butter is. That's his job. And my goodness, is he good at it?
I wouldn't say Hutch is he's probably not the rookie of the year, but he's the defensive rookie playmaker of the year. That's for sure. Just he's not, it's defensive line. You just can't make plays constantly. As a cornerback or a safety, if the ball's getting thrown your way, you could make a play on it.
Do you think he doesn't?
He's just all over the field for a young defensive lineman to be doing what he's doing is insane. And with this coaching staff, like this inexperienced coaching staff too.
Do you think that he does not win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Oh, it's Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I'd say sadly no, because Sauce Gardner's in New York. So I feel like that's where all the attention is going. I'm not saying that's deserved. I'm just saying I think that's how it'll play out.
Really?
Yeah. Because of where the other guy plays. Because it seems like by week 3, everyone's like, Sauce Gardner, Rookie of the Year. We don't care what else happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
As the season has gone on, Hutchinson's gotten better. And part of it, too, is Sauce is like, if no one's throwing at you, you can't get stats.
Right. That is, and they might, they might factor that in a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, Hutch has more picks than Sauce, right?
Probably.
I think. Boy, the play where they hit him over there on the sidelines and he was just hanging out, like, dude, who draws that up? Like, what in God's green earth?
It's like the kick return where you lay the guy in the end zone because your jerseys are the same color as the end zone.
Yeah. You just lay him down there and try to, I think with 3 picks, I think he's got more than Sauce. I think. I mean, 3 picks puts him tied for 20th in the league for a defensive end for a team that is 8-8, fighting for the playoffs. If they can knock out Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. I
could
think
probably bet that he, like, Aiden Hutchinson might not have 3 more picks the rest of his career.
Yeah. Fair bet.
And, like, that's not a knock.
He's a defensive lineman. He's not supposed to.
Like, he's made some great plays. He's had some lucky, like, the first 2 that were just out of pure, like, luck and chance.
Well, I mean, that one in Green Bay played pretty well.
Well, I'm just saying, but it was, like, just such a dud of a throw. Like, I'm not taking away from him. It was like he was in the right place at a really weird time.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, dud of a throw, just terrible. Just with a left-handed throw from Aaron Rodgers. Lions rookies James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson, and Josh Paschal combined to produce 5.5 sacks. That's the most sacks an NFL team's rookies have combined to produce in a single game since the Bills rookies registered 6 back on November 11th of 2001. So the most in over 20 years. The Lions also combined for 171 rushing yards in the game, which was pretty incredible from their wide receivers. A new franchise record for the most combined rushing yards by wide receivers, ranks 3rd in the NFL this season. They got 36 from Raymond, 40 from Jamison Williams on that end around that was beautiful. Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to play a huge role in the rushing game as well. For the first time in Lions franchise history, Detroit has 4,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing in the same season. How good is that? 4,000 and 2K. I mean, my goodness. The Lions' only tight end tandem with at least 4 touchdowns apiece, or pardon me, the NFL's only tight end tandem with at least 4 touchdowns apiece are actually the Lions' Brock Wright and Shane Zylstra. The 3rd time in franchise history, two tight ends have had 4 touchdowns in the same season.
So our friends over at DraftKings right now, minus 1,200 Sauce Gardner, plus 800 for Hutch.
Really?
Yep. Those might not be updated, but that was up until
going into the weekend.
Yes. So minus 1,200 is pretty crazy.
Jeez. That's boy, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money there, aren't they? Lions rookies have combined for 18.5 sacks this season. That's tied for the 2nd most sacks a team's rookies have produced in NFL history, with the 1999 Titans having 19. So the Lions have a chance to set that mark. The Lions tied with the 49ers in 1993 and the Niners in 1986 with 18.5. Like, it's for a team that couldn't get to the quarterback at all under Matt Patricia. What they have been able to do this year is simply remarkable. The evolution and the rebound from Jared Goff this year. I mean, Jared Goff has 4 games with a passer rating of over 120. That is tied for the most in franchise history. Greg Landry had 4 in 72. Bill Munson had 4 in 1968. Like, I could keep going. I could literally keep going with all the single-season franchise marks.
Did you get this one?
Together.
This with Houston and Paschal both recording multiple sacks. 4th game in which rookie teammates each recorded multiple sacks in a game since 1982.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And, we were talking a little bit about Brad Holmes because in the group chat, the SOL thing came up. I'm not a big same old Lions guy. I don't think that with the amount of turnover that takes place every single year, I think it's impossible to say same old Lions, because if that was the case, then this team wouldn't make any progress, because Matt Patricia was the head coach 2 seasons ago. And we saw how bad their offense and defense was under Matt Patricia. And we talked about how historically slow that team was, just top to bottom, and how much better this team is at generating some pressure. The improvement in the play of the secondary. They just had a really, really bad outing against the Carolina Panthers. And it hurts because it was all right there for the taking. Now they're going to get a Green Bay team this weekend when they have the chance to send Green Bay packing and an opportunity. And we'll know ahead of time whether this game, what this game means, or if anything at all, for the Lions. But you look at the way that they beat the Bears on Sunday, the way that they handled them for 4 quarters, especially after the way that game started with Justin Fields running around like a crazy person to get that team into the end zone. I mean, his 34-yard, or pardon me, I'm trying to remember how far was that first run where it looked like he was just gliding. And it was 8 yards, 5 yards, just slow but sure pickups, and just marching that team down the field. They go up 7-0.
Do you want a crazy stat?
I love
this.
Crazy stats.
This is nothing to do with any of the games being, well, it has something to do with the season overall. Since 1990, a streak of 33 seasons, at least 4 teams have qualified for the playoffs in every season that did not make it the year before. 33 straight seasons where 4 teams or more have made it that didn't make it the year before.
Yeah, I mean, that's the glory of the NFL, right? I mean, that's something we talk about going into the season. There's always going to be those teams that take a step back.
Let's make it 5 this year, Lions, please.
Got to have some help. And I think that's
Come on, Rams. We gave you a quarterback to win a Super Bowl last year.
Do us a solid.
Time to return the favor.
Do us a solid. And even after Chicago, they all 10 of their points came in their first 2 drives. And it was 7-0, then it was 7-7. It's 10-7 after the field goal. Lions take the lead 14-10, never look back. Game never felt like it was even going to be out of control. They would add a touchdown and a field goal and be up 24-10 at half. Once again, another game, they go into halftime leading, and you're like, there's no chance Chicago doesn't have an opportunity to win this football
props
game.
to the Bears. And there's one other college team that did a variation of this play over the weekend where the new thing is on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, you rush that tight end up under center and sneak it. And Chicago rushed Cole Kmet up there to run a sweep to Justin Fields instead of doing the sneak. Great play call. And I don't know which college team did over the weekend. They did the same thing, rushed the tight end up there. The center hiked it through the tight end's legs back to the quarterback in shotgun.
Ooh, crafty.
Right. It was like, good job on those play callers. Like, you know what? This is getting a little played out. We're going to freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah, Justin Fields definitely, he needs some help there. And look, he's the only reason Chicago had 10 points at all throughout the course of the game. But I'm not going to rely on the quarterback run game to be the end-all, be-all in the savior of my team. I don't believe in it. I've never been a believer in it. I'm not opposed to a quarterback scrambling. I just don't think it's in the best interest of your franchise to be running your franchise player time and time and time again. We're early on in the game. I think that Chicago scores on the possession in which Justin Fields had taken a break right next to us against the truck. So the little cart with the double cameras on it that runs up and down the sidelines to give you that sideline view. He had been ran out of bounds, and he's splits the cheerleaders, and he leans up against the truck. And after a big scamper, he had already been brought down somewhat awkwardly from behind, and he got up a little gingerly. It's too early in the game to have that happen. You can't. You just cannot.
And at this point in the season, like,
what are you doing?
Like, take him out. Just take him out. Like, I think you've seen enough of him this year to know what you like of him. And to know, like, okay, this guy can be an NFL quarterback. He's shown enough glimpses. It's like, now it's on the organization to get him an offensive line that can pass protect, to get him wide receivers that can catch.
Like, let's not have him get rolled up on and,
because
shatter his ankle.
Some of his biggest runs this year have been not on design runs, from escaping sacks and then just busting out for 40 yards.
And I'm all for that. Like, if you want to extend the play, you keep your eyes down the field, nothing's there, you tuck it and run it because you see a lane and you could take it, you could slide, you can get out of bounds, you can avoid the hit. I'm all for quarterbacks being able to do that. But when you are reliant on your quarterback carrying it 10 times for 132 yards, if designed runs for your quarterback are in the playbook, I'm just not a fan. I don't think it does anything for the longevity of the young man, and that's the position that, you're paying guys to literally protect him. So let them do their job, and if it's not there, the other part of it is, okay, if you can extend a play and you can run it, you can gain 10, 15, 20 yards, by all means, go right ahead. If there's an opportunity for you to do the Jalen Hurts and just chuck that thing out of bounds and live to play another day, because it only takes one weird tackle for you to sprain your shoulder, for you to roll your ankle, for you to hurt your hand, and then all of a sudden the trajectory of your franchise starts to get a little shaky if you take that guy out. Like, anybody who had any questions about Jalen Hurts being the most valuable player this year, just look at the Philadelphia Eagles and what he has meant to. They lost by 10 to New Orleans. Their offense really has just hit full stop without Jalen Hurts in there with that shoulder sprain. You can't. Sometimes it's fluke plays. For me, it's about mitigating the risk. And if I can mitigate the risk by that quarterback not having designed runs, unless, of course, it's like 4th and 1, you need a sneak, then by all means, take the snap, put your head down, sneak it right in there, do the old Tom Brady. The guys made it an absolute art. Outside of that, I'm good. And if you're the Detroit Lions, regardless of what happens this Sunday, I am overly pleased with how this season has went. They have exceeded my expectation. I am happy about the progress that we have seen both offensively and defensively. I think you look at, interior line, you look at linebacker, you obviously look at some help in the secondary. Your offense is pretty much, with a healthy Jamison Williams. DJ Chark was on a 1-year deal, so what do you want to do about that? Your offense is in really, really good shape right now as from an entirety standpoint, from that 30,000 feet view. Where do we stand? I think offense is in good position. What are we going to do? How are we going to add a little bit more to this defense to where, as Dan Campbell talked about, now that they've been able to have this stretch of 7 out of 9. You start to feel a lot different about where this team could be moving forward. And Dan Campbell talked about it as much. Like now it's about divisions, right? Now it's about winning the division. Now it's about trying to get, to the playoffs and to host a playoff game. He knows what it would mean, and try to avoid that. Inevitable is not good. It's not the right word choice, but try to avoid that precarious letdown next season after all the positive momentum that you've built this season. I don't think that they will see that, and we'll see if they can keep most of this roster intact. We'll see if they can keep most of this coaching staff intact. We'll step aside. Hour number 2 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Dirty oil can easily wreak havoc on your vehicle's engine, so be sure to change the oil at recommended intervals. And for a motor oil that outperforms conventional and synthetic blends, try Mobil 1, the full synthetic motor oil that keeps your engine running like new. Ask for Mobil 1 at your local Auto Value Auto Parts store. And don't forget to pick up a Wix XP oil filter to complete the job. Because when it comes to oil changes, we've got you covered at Auto Value, where service is the difference. We get it.
Hey, Michigan, let's go big. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking real big-time winning on the hottest slots and table games on one incredible app, Eagle Casino and Sports.
Sign up now and get up to $1,500. That's right. We'll match your first 2 deposits for up to $1,500, plus 100 free spins.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older in Michigan to play.
Get more for your money and kick off the new year with Meijer. Start your wellness journey with buy one, get one free vitamins or supplements. And enjoy delicious meals with deals like 80% lean ground beef for $2.99 per pound. Taylor Farm salad chopped kids, 2 for $6. And Lean Cuisine or Stouffer's frozen meals, just $2.48 with M-Perks. Plus, pay the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations. I think there's close to 30 across the Huge Radio network. For the one close to you, go to MrCarWash.com, and there you can join their Unlimited Wash Club. Now, this is a quick and convenient way to keep your car shining all the time. It's everything you love about getting your car washed in a simple, easy-to-use, affordable plan. As an Unlimited Wash Club member, you will enjoy all the benefits of washing as often as you like, no long-term contract, convenient monthly billing, and now you can be rest assured with a contactless visit. So go to MrCarWash.com right now, sign up for their Unlimited Wash Club Pass, and that means you can get your car washed at any Mr. Car Wash location across the Huge Radio network or anywhere in America. And for the location close to you across the Huge Radio network, you can also log on to MrCarWash.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids. They now have merged with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of the state, and they're stronger than ever before in the state of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast when it comes to your accounting and business needs. Find out more at BeanGarter.com. That's BeanGartr.com. Also, Tom has stepped up with $1,500 in cash in the Beat Huge Pro Football Picks contest. Now, if you beat my picks just 1 week, you'll be in the drawing at the end of the pro football season for $1,500 in cash from Tom Rosenbach and Bean Garter. Thursday night game is always a freebie. You have until Sunday morning to play every week through the big game. You can play once or play every week. Do what you want to, but get your picks in now at thehugeshow.net.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 2 on this Tuesday, the third day of January 2023. Great to have you ride along with us. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. You can text us, use the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951, 2176, 248-951, 2176. By the way, although we're sad that the Wolverines don't get to go to L.A., we are very, very happy for Denise and David from Gobles, Michigan. They won the alternate prize, a trip to the 2023 Masters. Congratulations. Allegedly, the husband told his wife, you should sign up for this. So there you have it. They signed up, and boom. Now we're sending them to the Masters. So congratulations. They won our grand prize from the National Championship giveaway. And a big thanks to our friends at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Eagle Sports for their contributions and help putting this all together with the Alumni Association of the University of Michigan. Let's get over to the Meyer Supercenter guest lines where we find Bill in Tennessee. Good morning to you, Bill. How are you, my friend? Big game for you tonight, or this week, I should say, not tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, even though it's going to be a big game, Anthony, I just don't have a good feeling about it. Even though they're going to start an ex-volunteer, Josh Dobbs, still, I'm going to have to go with Jacksonville in that one this coming Saturday night.
Can you believe that Jacksonville is going to they could make the playoffs? Can you believe that? Is that not crazy or what? All they had to do was get rid of Urban Meyer. Look at him now.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'll have to say this, that Lawrence can hum that tater. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That Lawrence can hum that tater. That is an all-time quote right there, Bill.
But on the positive note, Anthony, what do you think of my Volunteers upsetting Clemson?
I wasn't really sure if it's an upset, to be honest with you, Bill. I thought that Tennessee was a very good football team. They had a legitimate, with an expanded playoff to 12 teams, and the way that they're going to structure it with your 6 highest-ranked conference winners and then your 6 at-large. I really thought that Tennessee would be an at-large team if they would have structured it the way that it's going to be moving forward. So I never really bought into Clemson all year. I thought Clemson got what they deserved in that Orange Bowl. I'm happy for Tennessee. I'm proud of Tennessee for winning that football game. I'm glad they did it for the soul of college football. Good for Joe Milton, who threw for 250 and 3 touchdowns in that game. It was good to see. Love to see Clemson lose. Good for the Tennessee Volunteers, 11-2 season. Not everybody's going to go undefeated, and that's fine. But things are definitely looking up there in Rocky Top, and I think that that's good for the sport of college football and the soul of college football overall to have Tennessee back relevant again. So I think it's a good thing.
Anthony, I want you to keep one name in mind. He played for the Tennessee Volunteers, and he's a wide receiver. And I believe he caught one of Joe Milton's TD passes, Squirrel White. Keep that name in mind, Anthony. Squirrel White.
Squirrel White. We will look for Squirrel White. In fact, not only did he catch a touchdown pass, he caught 8 other passes. He had 9 catches for 108 yards for old Squirrel. So shout out to Big Squirrel out there running around like a crazy man, catching the acorns, the 5'10 freshman. 5'10", 160, playing D1 football. That's incredible.
I'll tell you what, Tennessee's got a good wide receiver core, and I'll tell you, Anthony, the best is yet to come, buddy.
The best is yet to come. No doubt about it, my friend. No doubt about it. Bill in Tennessee, appreciate the call. Congratulations on a great weekend. Tighten up, Bill. All right, there goes Bill. May I ask which 4 games did Goff have over 120 ratings in? 121.7 in a win against Washington in Week 2, 121.5 in a Week 4 loss against Seattle, 48-45, 120.7 in a win over Minnesota at home, 34-23, and 135.5 in a 41-10 slaughter of the Chicago Bears. So there's your 4 games over 120. Let's get to Dave in Hudsonville, who is on hold right now. Dave, good morning to my friend. How are you, partner?
Hey, good morning, AB. Happy New Year to you, brother.
Happy New Year to you as well. Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. How you doing?
There you go. Good. Thank you very much. So, hey, first of all, congratulations to the Wolverines on a great season. I think it's interesting that you saw maybe a little bit of the conundrum that Jim Harbaugh faced all year with J.J. McCarthy in the sense of maybe why he didn't turn him loose earlier. Because I think if you look at the game, all 3 turnovers, the one at the goal line, that was not on the running back. That was a bad exchange from the center to the quarterback. That ball was gone before it got to the running back in that regard, and then the 2 interceptions. So I just think it's fascinating in the sense that J.J. gives and J.J. takes away a little bit. And I wonder if Harbaugh would have turned him loose earlier, if it would have made it easier later to see about, being in that situation and firing the ball around. Because J.J. can sling it. You just don't always know who he's going to sling it to. You know what I mean? And it might have made him a little calmer.
Yeah, anytime you get an opportunity at more reps, especially live in-game reps and doing a little bit more, it is one of the things that could hamper the development of a quarterback when you turn around and hand it off 30 times a game.
I mean, they took the wide receivers and took him off the leash a little bit when they had to. And it's one of those things that it scared Harbaugh, but it's also a risk-reward piece. Because, Michigan has tremendous weapons out wide, and people undervalue their weapons out wide, and then all of a sudden when they start firing it around. But at the end of the day, you got a young quarterback who thinks he can do everything and, makes some mistakes at times. And so if you let him learn earlier, it's just an interesting piece in that regard because they kept it on the ground so much earlier, and then they got into a couple of goofy play calls based on, that they've never run before and so forth. And I'm also fascinated that a school of 12,000 can have that much success in frickin' Division I football.
Pretty incredible, huh?
Incredible. It's amazing to me. Think about that, 12,000 students. You're not going to find, Wayne State has like 40,000 students.
No. Wayne State's that big?
I don't know. Grand Valley's got like 38 or 40. Maybe Wayne State's got 20 or 25.
Well, look at some of the high
Valley,
schools down there in Texas. They got to have more than 12,000 in high schools. They got 5A and 6A.
Yeah, and TCU had some dudes, man. Their linebackers and some of their guys, they were something, man. It was impressive.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic. I don't want to take anything away from TCU. They played a hell of a football game.
Yeah. And then my last thing for the Lions is, hey, it's exciting, that they get an opportunity to play some meaningful football. I just hope, I'm glad they flexed it. I hope we have a chance to get in or get out, but no matter what, if they don't, it's going to be their playoff game to keep the Packers out, or it's going to be a game to get us in. And then I'm really looking forward to sign me up for a couple of linebackers and a safety, and I'm happy next year for the defense early on.
Yeah, you look at if they would have been able to put some of these performances defensively together earlier in the year, this is not an 8-8 football team. This team right now might be something along the lines of, 11-5, 12-4. So it's I think a lot of good positive things for the Lions here in the future. We got the coach, we got the GM. I feel like we got some good legitimate franchise pieces. I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, and AB, the biggest job he's done this year probably is just the culture change. That's the biggest job Campbell and his staff have done as far as to make these guys believe that they can compete with anybody and win.
Amen. It's all part of it. You gotta believe. You gotta believe you can do it. Dave in Hudsonville, appreciate the call this morning, my friend. Some Michigan game thoughts. 1, there's no shame in kicking the field goal on the opening drive. Agreed. Take the points when you can. 2, let's run J.J. Moore. Didn't he gain like 70 yards in 2 plays and score a touchdown? Not a big fan of the quarterback run game. 3, I guess I don't know what targeting is. The official the officiating was very suspect at best. That comes from Br0's. No, I mean, after watching this weekend of football, nobody knows what targeting is, GB. You're not alone. We're all in that same boat together. We have no idea what targeting is anymore in college football. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Lions trivia, Wings and Pistons from this weekend. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Get more for your money and kick off the new year with Meijer. Start your wellness journey with buy one, get one free vitamins or supplements. And enjoy delicious meals with deals like 80% lean ground beef for $2.99 per pound. Taylor Farm salad chopped kits, 2 for $6. And lean cuisine or Stouffer's frozen meals, just $2.48 with M-Perks. Plus, pay the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Dirty oil can easily wreak havoc on your vehicle's engine, so be sure to change the oil at recommended intervals. And for a motor oil that outperforms conventional and synthetic blends, try Mobil 1, the full synthetic motor oil that keeps your engine running like new. Ask for Mobil 1 at your local Auto Value Auto Parts store. And don't forget to pick up a Wix XP oil filter to complete the job. Because when it comes to oil changes, we've got you covered at Auto Value, where service is the difference. We get it.
We might have just come out with our most refreshing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer yet. It's called the Essential Collection. It's made with coconut water and real fruit juice, so it's always going to have a real refreshing fruit taste. Can refreshing get any more refreshing? Yep, it can, and it just did. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, made with coconut water and real fruit juice for a superior taste. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. Time now because it's hour 2 at segment 2, a little Detroit Lions trivia time. Who doesn't love to learn more about the Detroit Lions? All right, we're going to go back a couple weeks because it's based off the calendar.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we okay? We're not on the new calendar then.
Not yet.
Good to know.
All right. On December 15th of 1935, the Detroit Lions won their first league title by beating what team 26-7 in the NFL championship game, which was held at the University of Detroit Stadium. First championship. Who'd they beat? This is why we're longtime rivals, and I hate this franchise. They stink.
The Bears.
No. We played them this season.
The Cardinals. No, we didn't play the Cardinals. Did we?
We did not play the Cardinals this year.
It just feels like we did. Because we play them every year.
Gosh. The Jets?
Oh. Correct answer is...
Not the Jets.
The
Obviously.
Giants. The
I
New
was
York
gonna...
Football Giants. 1930. I remember that game like it was yesterday. Just dominated for 4 quarters. Barely even had to throw
What
the
year
football.
was it?
1935.
Okay. The Lions winning
Double
NFL
check.
championships. 1936, TCU wins a championship.
Unbelievable.
It is crazy, though. Like my grandmother was 15 years old in 1935.
Wow. Just get ready for the Blitzkrieg. Jeez. Were they here or still in Europe?
My grandma was born and raised in Chicago. My grandpa's from Ireland.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's get over to the Myers Supercenter guest line. I believe that we have a fine young gentleman waiting to speak and share his opinion on the sporting world. Who do we have first over there, Dan?
USDA Scott.
USDA, what's crack-a-lackin'? How are you? Happy Tuesday, my friend.
Hey, Happy New Year to you guys. Hey, real quickly, the reason I love Freddie's takes because he has passion. You can tell he loves his Lions, so he can crack on the Lions anytime he wants. He can crack on any of his teams because you can tell he loves his team. These people with what was the SOL, St. Louis Lions, and all this other stuff, they just don't know what they're talking about. If you do me a favor, do me one favor, any of you folks that think that way, just keep our team's name out of your mouth.
Oh.
And that's why I say I always respect Freddie because Freddie comes with passion because he loves his team. Most people don't love their team; they love to hate their team. And then I'll tell you, did you hear or read Pete Carroll's about his press conference yesterday?
No, I did not see Pete Carroll's press conference.
They asked him a question. They said, well, if you win, what do the Lions have to play for? He said, you don't know Dan Campbell. He said, you don't know, even for you to say that, you don't know Dan Campbell. That team's going to fight. That team's going to fight for years. People are going to be chasing that team, he said. That's Pete Carroll. That's pretty high praise.
I sure hope so. That would be, boy, would that be a dream come true, especially after all the heat he took early. Like, that would be so great to see it work out kind of the way that it's going to right now. I mean, right now it's working out. It's working out, but, before your eyes. And it's beautiful to see.
Huge article in Yahoo Sports, too, about how teams are, the Niners and those teams are so much more worried about the Lions squeaking in instead of the Packers. But the Packers are, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the Dallas Cowboys, LeBron James. they get so much press because people are so polar opposites on either you absolutely love those players or those teams, the Yankees, or you really can't stand them. So you get a lot of conversation. It's not like I love them or I don't care about them.
Well, all those teams also have something in common, Scott.
They win.
They win. They win. And, if you went, back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks and your team constantly won the division and was constantly in the playoffs, then, they would be talking about our team a whole lot more. Maybe we'll get to that point.
Did you see the line opened up at 5? It's already down to 4.5. If it gets down under 4, it'll be the first time since 1991 that the Lions have been under a 4-point dog at Green Bay. 30 years. 31
No, that can't be true because a couple of years ago they had to start Deshaun Kaiser. We were favored in that. Well, maybe we might not have been favored in that game. I don't know. We were pretty bad. But yeah, when Deshaun Kaiser was their quarterback, I mean that was there was a couple of years where Aaron Rodgers got hurt. We didn't have to play him at Lambeau.
I looked that one up. I think I'm pretty sure that we were 5-point dogs.
That's crazy. With Deshaun Kaiser, God bless him, local kid. But yeah, not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, and then just look at how close we were to the Michigan Ohio State championship. I mean,
so close.
Just a couple of plays, and now I got to hear these stupid SEC people. Oh, back-to-back champions. Oh, yeah, all that stuff. Ohio State outplayed that team from start to finish.
Unfortunate set of circumstances. Almost the sum of all my fears taking place all in one Saturday. It would have been real bad, Scott, had Michigan drop that opener and then Ohio State wins the closer. That would have been
I'm a Michigan State fan, so I root for every Big Ten team when they're not playing my team, and when it comes to tournaments, when it comes to the NCAA tournament or bowl games. I'm a homer that way. I love Penn State rolling Utah yesterday.
And Scott, I'm fine with Penn State, Minnesota winning, Illinois, tough game for them. Maryland, that was great. If Michigan State would have went, I'm sure all of them. Nebraska, Wisconsin, whoever. Not Columbus. Not them. Not them. I don't care. Not them. Anybody else. I'm proud of you. Go Big Ten. Kevin Warren. Oh my God. Everyone's a winner. Not Ohio State. The hell with them.
I can't get into that feeling because I don't know that feeling because I'm not a Michigan fan. I don't have that. I don't even have that hatred.
Let the hate in your heart, Scott. Sometimes it feels good.
Let that hate in your like. You got hate in your heart, let it out. Remember Clayton Bigsby, the former motivational speaker from Dave Chappelle's show, early 2000s. Scott, appreciate the phone call this morning, my friend. Thank you, partner.
See you guys.
Let's get to GB Ritz real quick. We got to get him in before John Wagner comes on. GB, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Happy New Year to you, AB.
Happy New Year to you as well, my friend.
To your point about the running, I heard what you said. You're not in favor of the running quarterbacks all the time. And I'm not saying run them all the time. But they do that delay handoff to Edwards. He steps up, and they go back. They have that little pause there. They were all over that play the whole game. I don't think Edwards gained anything off of that. Why not have the quarterback keep it on one play to give them some deception? So you have to fool them. You have to throw another element, a wrinkle in the playbook because they schemed really well for Michigan, and you gotta change something. And that's just all I got with that. I mean, I just think that they missed the boat because that McCarthy's running was there all game, and when he ran those two plays and scored the touchdown, I thought he's going to take the game over. That's his point, to go in and take the game over. He just didn't. They just didn't allow for that to happen. So
TCU was very, very well prepared. Got to give Sonny Dykes a lot of credit here. We got to step aside. John Wagner joins us on the other side here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Phil Simonson here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids. They now have merged with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of the state, and they're stronger than ever before in the state of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast when it comes to your accounting and business needs. Find out more at beancarter.com. That's BEENEGARTR.com. Also, Thomas stepped up with $1,500 in cash in the Beat Huge Pro Football Picks contest. Now, if you beat my picks just 1 week, you'll be in the drawing at the end of the pro football season for $1,500 in cash from Tom Rosenbach and Bean Carter. Thursday night game is always a freebie. You have until Sunday morning to play every week through the big game. You can play once or play every week. Do what you want to, but get your picks in now at thehugeshow.net.
Dirty oil can easily wreak havoc on your vehicle's engine, so be sure to change the oil at recommended intervals. And for a motor oil that outperforms conventional and synthetic blends, try Mobil 1, the full synthetic motor oil that keeps your engine running like new. Ask for Mobil 1 at your local Auto Value Auto Parts store. And don't forget to pick up a Wix XP oil filter to complete the job. Because when it comes to oil changes, we've got you covered at Auto Value, where service is the difference. We get it.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining us now. A member of the National Football Foundation and Football Writers Association of America. Also spent a couple of decades covering the Detroit Tigers minor league system. Our good buddy John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Sport. Johan, my friend, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of ground to cover just in the introductions, Anthony. My goodness. Hope you're feeling better, first of all. Feeling better?
Thank you. It's a toss-up.
Fair enough.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hope you are you still wearing black, or have you moved to Honolulu blue and silver?
No, I mean I'll still wear my I'll still wear my Michigan gear. So let's start there with game number 1 on Saturday. Michigan falls to TCU in a shootout, 51-45. And throughout portions of that game, John, even when the score was incredibly lopsided to the tune of, even 21-6 at halftime, it felt like a tie game. And it was like, man, I know that Michigan is in trouble here at this point because they are not playing well. I mean, this is the Murphy's Law of a football game right here. They're not tackling. Their offense looks stagnant. TCU's defense is spending their entire day making sandwiches behind the line of scrimmage against that Joe Moore Offensive Line of the Year award winner. Second year in a row we've gotten that award. In second year in a row, we've watched after that award has been handed out, a team's defense just absolutely run the line of scrimmage against the Michigan Wolverines. But it never felt like TCU, at least in my opinion, watching it. I never felt like Michigan was out of it. It never really felt like a 3-score game. It always felt like this thing was tied, and Michigan just couldn't get over the hump. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, I'll meet you halfway. I never felt they were out of it, but at the same time, I never felt they were good enough or playing well enough, I should say. They were certainly good enough to come back. I didn't think they were ever playing well enough to overcome the mistakes that they were making. I mean, that's part of it, and also the problems of getting beat on both sides of the line. And if you are summing up Michigan's season coming into that game, what's your focus? The way that they seem to dominate both sides of the line, and the way they don't create turnovers or make turnovers to hurt themselves. And they were doing both of those. I mean, it was so against the grid that until they cleaned that up, I never felt they were going to do the job they needed to do. I wasn't feeling it. I got to be honest. I was not feeling it.
I was, as much as I was surprised at how poorly the offensive line played through 4 quarters, I was equally as disappointed from the defensive inability to tackle anyone. You march the football all the way down on the opening drive, and then you try to run that Philly special, whatever the hell that was, where Colson Loveland was trying to, he was taking the double reverse, he was going to pass. I don't know. It felt like, I know one of TCU's players said this afterwards. It felt like when Michigan had to run a trick play there, at 4th down and goal to go from the 2-yard line, TCU felt like at that moment they had them. They had them where they wanted them. Now that TCU would punt on their ensuing drive, and the Michigan would throw in their first of 2 pick sixes. But I just absolutely hated that play call in that moment. Donovan Edwards gets that big run, gets you 54 yards on the opening play from scrimmage. You have to score on that drive. To walk away with 0 was such a gut punch there early.
Agreed. And, the part that I was wondering was, if you're going for it there and you're Michigan, especially this year's Michigan team, you've got to run it. I mean, you've lived your life running the ball. You're basically saying, listen, our men are going to blow your men off the line. That's how it's going to happen. So for me, it was a question of, could you blow TCU off the line enough to get 2 yards? And if not, then you need to kick a field goal and get points. So when they went to trickeration there after setting the line, yeah, I agree with you. I thought that was a dreadful decision. Even if it worked, you're kind of telling TCU, listen, I'm not entirely sure we can beat you off the line. And when you didn't succeed with it, you basically said, listen, we're not entirely sure we can beat you. And I am probably overstating it. I am probably overstating it. But look at it from TCU's perspective. If that's what they think they have to do to beat you, you talk about a confidence booster, that should turbocharge your confidence.
And it did. It turbocharged TCU, and this game just squandered opportunities one after another. Even when it was 14-0, Michigan comes down, settles for a field goal. They get an interception, and then there's that big pass play from J.J. McCarthy to Roman Wilson, which in discussing this on Sunday with one of the NFL's replay officials, he could not figure out exactly why that was not ruled a touchdown, because as Roman Wilson is catching the ball, in the process of catching this ball, the ball is moving around a little bit as his hind end comes down prior to the goal line. When he finally has control of the football, he's clearly within the purple. I didn't, especially as it was called as a touchdown on the field, I did not get that. That one really irritated me a lot, because then the ensuing play, well, don't fumble the football. That's part of it too. But then you fumble, and then it's just that was just a gut punch number 2.
And I'm wondering if you're going to hit another late gut punch when on the 4th down play they don't look at targeting on the hit.
Yeah. What is targeting, though? What do we even know? 15 bowl games, and nobody has any idea what it is.
Yeah, and let me just say this. Did Michigan really play well enough that break changes your mind and it changes everything, and man, we're turbocharged and blah, blah, blah?
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
You know what? It makes it a different game. Yes, but it doesn't make Michigan a different team. And on that night, Michigan was just not good enough to win a national title or a semifinal game. It's funny, and I'm sorry, I'm going to just veer off for just a second, but I promise to get us back on track. I covered the Mid-American Conference for years and years. When the Mid-American Conference would go up against a Power 5 school, I would tell people all the time, hey, 2 things have to happen here. One is the MAC school has to play well. Has to. If they don't play well, they're not going to win no matter what the Power 5 school does. But the second part, and equally important, is the Power 5 school has to not play well. They have to open the door for the MAC school to take advantage of it and win the game. That you need both of those elements. It cannot be any other way. Not going to be an upset for a MAC school unless both of those elements are in place. In a championship game against a championship caliber team, you can't have a subpar effort. You just can't. Michigan didn't have a great effort against Illinois, but that's not a championship team, and they were able to find a way to win. Against a TCU, against a Georgia, against Ohio State, name any team you want that's in that upper echelon. You can't have a subpar effort against that kind of team and expect, you know what, we'll just out-talent them. No, it just doesn't happen. So you can talk all you want about how, that play would have changed momentum, that would have changed everything. It makes it a different game. Yes and no. It makes the score different. It didn't make the way Michigan was playing any bit different. It just didn't. And if you're a Michigan fan and you haven't come to grips with the idea of your team did not play well enough to win in that semifinal, well, you got to catch up to the rest of us who have.
I think that's a really good point, because I look at I look at all this, and I think to myself, when we have what you are saying in a nutshell here, I thought from the opening kick, Michigan, as much as they talked about it being a quote-unquote business trip, they felt more focused this time around than they did against Georgia last year. I didn't feel like they brought nearly the same intensity or moxie that they had in Columbus. From the opening rip of it, it did not feel. And I don't know if that was credit to TCU. I'm not really sure how to put my finger on that. But to me, it just didn't feel like this team. They're not. This isn't going to go well.
I won't talk to that because I don't know. I mean, if you say it, I'll believe it. Okay. What I would say was the guys who played great against Ohio State and played a key role in them winning that game did not have great games against TCU. And I know everybody thinks I'm talking about one guy. Yeah, I'm not that. Before you even say that player's name. Yeah, he didn't have a great game. But I think you could run up and down the line and look at a number of Michigan players who didn't really have great games. I mean, if you were picking an MVP for Michigan for that game, who would you pick? I'm kind of stumped. I got to be honest.
Yeah, MVP.
And that's my point. That's my point. I mean, you didn't really have anybody step up. I just didn't feel that. And that in a game of that level, you have to have guys who step up. I mean, go look at the Georgia and Ohio State game. Can we talk about the guys who stepped up there? Yeah. I mean, and it's obvious. And it's why both teams, I mean, that was a game where both teams deserved to win. It was sad to see a team lose there. And Ohio State or Georgia, I thought they both played grade A games. They had good performances. There were mistakes here and there, but they were both deserving of a win. It was pretty obvious who were their MVPs were, and their key players stepped up.
Were you surprised
for Michigan?
Were you surprised from that Ohio State game that they played as well as they did against Georgia? I mean, the first half there was like the sum of all of my fears. Like, don't let us get knocked out. We beat Ohio State. We win the Big Ten. Don't let Michigan get knocked out in game number 1 and then watch Ohio State upset Georgia for a trip to the national championship. I mean, that's like sickening. I mean, I thought I was sick last week. This would that would have been worse.
Like a true Big Ten fan.
No. To hell with Ohio State.
Well, all right, that's sufficiently unsubtle. I hear it. I know you hate the SEC, and I'm not telling you you're wrong in that hatred. I would say this, though. You got to give the SEC marks. Their schools all support one another in the bowl. You know, you should want the Big Ten to play well in bowl games.
Not Ohio State. Anybody else? Yeah. Purdue? Purdue yesterday. What a debacle that was. Like, you could see that the writing was on the wall.
Boilermakers stood up and played. Yeah. Here's the problem: is
63-7. That was disgusting.
They're playing the third or fourth best team in the SEC in LSU. We could argue. Well, put it this way: they're easily a top 5 team in the SEC, probably top 4. With Hooker hurt, maybe they're number 3 in the SEC. Purdue is not a top 3 team in the Big Ten. If they're number 4, it's because it's by default, basically, because there is no number 4. I mean, that was a mismatch the moment it was announced between LSU and Purdue. That was a mismatch the moment the game was announced.
I like how they brought Purdue's new head coach up to the booth, and they just like, we're not even going to show you the game. We're just going to show you the broadcast team. Shout out to Dan Orlovsky, former Lion, and this new coach. We're not even going to show you what's happening on the field. Here's these 3 guys just talking football because this is just a bludgeoning. Like it was, spare us all having to watch LSU just thunder punch Purdue up and down the field. Like, that was a debacle. I'm glad you said that, since it was announced that game was going to be absolutely just ugly. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That game was going to be sick. And I root for the Big Ten. I do. I just never for Ohio State. Never going to do it. Can't change. Not going to.
I just want to confirm, Anthony, what league does Ohio State play in?
Don't know. Never heard of them. Minnesota, I was rowing boats against Syracuse. You know, as much as I hate the SEC, John, I at least respect them. The ACC, bunch of scrubs. Love to see Minnesota beat Syracuse. Maryland punched NC State in the throat like that, 16-12. That was a beautiful thing. Iowa slapping Kentucky for 4 quarters, 21-0. That was great. Illinois fell to Mississippi State, obviously with the passing of Mike Leach. You feel for those kids there at Mississippi State, and good for them, to be able to get that victory. But, I'm rooting for Penn State last night in the Rose Bowl. They put on quite a performance against your Utah Utes. Purdue, I was rooting for them. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but good luck, Purdue. Try to at least maybe cover, even though I took LSU, because why would you ever take Purdue in that game? Everybody else, that's fine. Ohio State, absolutely not.
Well, it's funny. You mentioned my youth. My youth had their quarterback hurt. Now it doesn't explain why their defense played so poorly in the second half, because quarterbacks don't have a lot of play on defense. But it certainly didn't help when their starting quarterback and their most important player gets hurt and can't come and play anymore. I mean, he's not the reason they lost. They lost because they played so poorly on defense in the second half. But that surely didn't help. Utah's a good team, and I can't believe you haven't taken me to full task for my love of the Pac-12 and that fine, just wonderful performance by USC in the Cotton Bowl. See, I didn't see a moment of Purdue. Good Lord, I wasn't going to watch that game.
No,
and then
no.
I had the Tulane USC game on instead, which that was a wonderful game. An amazing finish by Tulane there to win that game.
I mean, I didn't want to do this because Tulane plays the American. We know that the American, they refer to themselves as Power 6, and we know they puff their chest up, and Cincinnati's been in the dance. Like, that's fine. But that was just such a great example for my expanded college football playoff. I mean, it was so beautiful to watch that. All I could think about was you, John, as Tulane got that review there at the end of the game. And I'm like, this is what it's all about, baby. This is like, roll it out there and kick it off, and let's get weird and see what happens. Like, this is why we expand the playoff and get the conference champions, all of them in there. Let's go.
Yeah, see, the problem is, the way I viewed it is, that's why we love bowl games, not why we love a college playoff. We get a different game if that's a college football playoff. USC, you have to think they come in there washed out. There's a chance they play in the championships. They find a way to lose to Utah and aren't in it. You can tell their heart's not in it. Now, they're a good team. They played just a dreadful fourth quarter, especially dreadful 5 minutes. They weren't very good all game long, though. I mean, they let Tulane stay in the game. If that's a college football playoff game, that's a rout for USC.
Oh, you can't. No. There's no. Tulane beat them straight up.
About that game, if it's a playoff game,
straight
they
up.
Don't care about it in this scenario.
Oh, they should care about it because they got embarrassed on national TV. He is John Wagner. Find him on Twitter, John Wagner Sport. He's anti-expansion, anti-fun, anti-little guy. It's me. I'm standing up for you, the people. Vote for Bellino, the commissioner of college football. As always, Johan, thank you, my friend.
Happy New Year to you and your listeners, Anthony. I hope you have a great week.
Hey, folks, a reminder now live in Ohio as well to all of our listeners down there in the Glass City. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code HUGE. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win. Get $150 in free bets when they do. Promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus issued is free bets. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/basketball terms. Hour 3 next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go on the court with Tim Stout.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com.
It's January 2023, and now the Big Ten men's basketball schedule picks up in earnest. Several years ago, the conference schedule was increased to 20 games, and there weren't enough weekends to play. The conference games over 10 weekends. So Michigan State is now 1-1 in league play with the traditional 2 games played in December, of which they split a shocking loss at home to Northwestern and an impressive win in a close game at Penn State. The Spartans are in the Br0's Center Tuesday night against Nebraska, a team that's hard to figure, looking good and bad at times so far. And then the invasion Saturday, 2:30 p.m. in the Br0's Center, the much-anticipated game against Michigan, the first of 2 meetings between these 2 teams in the regular season.
If you or your family is touched by autism, Learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
Hey, Michigan, let's go big. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking real big-time winning on the hottest slots and table games on one incredible app, Eagle Casino and Sports.
Sign up now and get up to $1,500. That's right. We'll match your first 2 deposits for up to $1,500, plus 100 free spins.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the car.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the 3rd day of January 2023. Danica Halen, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. Dan, let's get right to that Meyer Supercenter guest line, shall we? 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. Who do we have first?
Mike in West Branch.
Mike in West Branch. Good morning to you, Mike. How are you, my friend?
I am doing much better than the last time we talked. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's life is good. No complaints here.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you won't get to call a natty.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten to call it anyways. But yeah, to go out there, that would have been a lot of fun. But unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
It is, and it's unfortunate, And I think that they overlooked TCU. And that's a mistake. Hopefully it can be used as a learning thing if Harbaugh sticks around. I don't know. You got all those head coaching things everyone's talking about now, but maybe he learned his lesson from last year with what happened with the Vikings and everything. But and I also wanted to say a prayer out there for that young man that plays for Buffalo. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Damar Hamlin.
Yes, that was something. Very scary. I'm glad his mom was there so that, she could be with him and stuff because wow. But on to the Lions. Like I said, we needed to see what type of coach Dan Campbell was going to be, and he showed up again. The whole coaching staff did with their game plan for Chicago and the way the team played, and I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing. I just hope it continues through to against Green Bay there, and we can play spoiler at a minimum for them. Hopefully, make the playoffs for us. But boy, I'd like to play spoiler for those gentlemen.
Boy, wouldn't that be great? Let's just hope that the Rams can take care of business against the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, if Seattle can drop that game and it's all on the line, winner take all, winner go to the playoffs, Packers, Lions, that would be just that riveting television Sunday night.
This is true. However, I believe last game, I was talking about how Baker Mayfield played out of his mind. Brother, we need that again from you, please. As much as I'd love to have that high-ranking draft pick, now is the time to pull it out of your where and play like you've never played before, please.
Yeah, the hell with that draft pick. Let's go. Let's get to the playoffs.
I agree. There's enough good defensive players in there that we should be able to focus on that. But it would make me very happy if we could take that little smug look off of Eric. I'm just waiting for him to talk trash with the Detroit fans and stuff. And see how ugly it gets when he talks trash.
Yeah, I don't. Right now, by the way, just for the record, right now the Rams pick sits at number 6. Could be 7, could be anywhere between 6 and 9, depending on what happens this weekend. And the Lions pick sits at number 17. So that's where we are as far as the draft order. In case you are wondering,
I would be elated if that pick moved up even higher or lower in the draft. The Lions pick.
Yeah, just make
I
make
can't
the
believe
playoffs,
I'm saying that, but
make
beyond that, for the first time, I don't mind looking at the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, even 6th round draft picks with our GM. I'm not scared of that now.
bring it on. Look at what he's found in those drafts.
Yeah,
how
outside of
Onwuzurike,
that's really the only, and he just hasn't been able to take the field. The poor guy can never get healthy. There's a lot of reason to have a lot of faith in Brad Holmes and buying the groceries and giving them to Dan Campbell to cook with.
I'll take an Onwuzurike if you can find an Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you can find a Rodrigo, if I'll take that. Okay, one bad out of 2 drafts so far.
Amen.
And how many of those guys has he found that are starters now that people they won't even make the team?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, Kirby Joseph, one of those guys. James Houston, one of those guys. Josh Paschal, one of those guys. I mean, impact players that he found later on in those later rounds, and that's where a bulk of your roster is made up. Your roster is not made up of a bunch of first-round picks. It's made up, rounds, 3 through 7, and then the undrafted guys. So he's done well so far, Mike. We got a lot to be happy about.
Absolutely, and it goes to show also with cornerbacks. And nothing against Okudah. He's been injured, and so I'm trying to, everyone's calling him a bust and everything. You have that type of an injury, you're never the same player, in my opinion, unless, of course, you're the former running back in Minnesota, Peterson. That man was just a robot. But you have that type of an injury, it saps your speed at least for a couple of years, if not the rest of your career. So I am in no way talking bad about him. But you don't need to take a cornerback that early. You look at the great cornerbacks in the league right now, or the good ones, because obviously, the game has changed, and cornerbacks don't mean what they used to unless you're Sauce Gardner. But you look at where he's drafting those guys and what he's finding there. I can't wait for this draft for the first time, other than, like the first pick. I never used to even watch the second day of the draft because the Lions never knew how to choose. I'm still looking forward to it this year.
And now you have really good reason to. Really good reason to, Mike. And it's exciting. Everything about the team right now is exciting. Their product on the field is exciting. The belief and faith that fans can have in the front office, that's exciting. The roster that they have assembled, the way that they have played this year has been exciting. The fact that they're 8-8 with everything on the line here in Week 18, that's exciting. It's just it's for the first time in a very long time. It feels like the direction of the team, and it doesn't feel like the Ndamukong Suh era where we're going to lose out on a guy because he doesn't want to be here and he doesn't want to play here and we don't want to pay him. Like that just doesn't feel like that even exists in this.
I was around for the last playoff win against Dallas. I remember that. I was in high school, and it was absolutely glorious. But I don't remember having the excitement level and the feeling like this under Wayne Fontes, because you never knew what you were going to get out of him. 1 year they're up, 1 year they're down. This, they just continue to build, and it's a totally different feeling and experience, and I'll take it.
Well, Mike, and the hardest thing about the NFL with all of the turnover, whether it's coaching, whether it's the roster, the hardest thing in the NFL is sustained success, right? And that's like every year there are so many teams that will fall out of playoff contention and so many new teams that will jump into the playoffs. And it happens year over year. There's more parity in the NFL than in any other league in professional sports. And that is because this league is built for everyone to go, 500, even though you can't do that anymore because it's a lopsided schedule with 17 games, an odd number of games. But sustained success is very, very difficult. You go from 3 wins last year to 8 wins this year, potentially 9. Where do you go from there? Can you build on that? Dan Campbell talked about that. We'll play that for you coming up at 8:35 about, setting a new standard of what it's like. Now this team, they know what it's like to win some football games, right? And they know what it's like to set the tone. They know what it's like to come out of halftime and close a game down. And these are all very important things that this team, this franchise needed to learn under this new regime, and it continues to build on that big B word, right? Belief. You gotta have belief in what you're doing, in your process, in your teammates, in your coaching staff, and in the direction of the organization. I think that exists not only for those players, but I also think that exists for the fans as well, and that's very, very important. Mike in West Branch, we appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for listening as always, partner.
Yeah, have a great day.
You as well. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros. Week 17 NFL recap, plus back into the Lions and what happened last night on Monday Night Football. Tough scene there. We'll get to all of it and more next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids. They now have merged with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of the state, and they're stronger than ever before in the state of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast when it comes to your accounting and business needs. Find out more at beancarter.com. That's BEENEGARTR.com. Also, Tom has stepped up with $1,500 in cash in the Beat Huge Pro Football Picks contest. Now, if you beat my picks just 1 week, you'll be in the drawing at the end of the pro football season for $1,500 in cash from Tom Rosenbach and Bean Carter. Thursday night game is always a freebie. You have until Sunday morning to play every week through the big game. You can play once or play every week. Do what you want to, but get your picks in now at thehugeshow.net.
Get more for your money and kick off the new year with Meijer. Start your wellness journey with buy one, get one free vitamins or supplements. And enjoy delicious meals with deals like 80% lean ground beef for $2.99 per pound. Taylor Farm Salad Chopped Kids, 2 for $6. And Lean Cuisine or Stouffer's Frozen Meals, just $2.48 with M-Perks. Plus, pay the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning, the third day of January 2023. Hopefully everybody had a safe and happy new year and was able to welcome in the new year. No, I don't believe we had any resolutions that we set aside, at least within our group. But if you did set a New Year's resolution, you're in day 3. One day at a time, as the coach, Kyle Barlow, would say. Stack good days. That's what you need to do. All right, time now for our Week 17 NFL recap. We'll go game for game, get you all caught up on everything that took place this past week and in the NFL. It all started on Thursday night with the Dallas Cowboys 27-13 winners over the Tennessee Titans. Dak Prescott, a couple of touchdown passes. Bad news bears, if you're the Tennessee Titans. It all now hangs in the balance against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who would have thought the Jags, the leader in the clubhouse right now in the AFC South, just look at the difference it made. Getting rid of Urban Meyer, getting a real coach in there, the strides Trevor Lawrence. And Bill, what was Bill in Knoxville's quote this morning? Lawrence can sling that tater. Is that what he said? Toss that tater? The hell was his quote this morning? Whatever it was.
I can't remember. Sling?
Something about taters.
Tossing that tater?
Tossing that tater.
I don't know.
It was beautiful. More beauty on Sunday as the Lions rolled the Chicago Bears 41-10 in the home finale. Sold-out crowd, standing room only to watch Jared Goff go for 255 and 3 touchdowns. Jamal Williams, 144 yards on the ground and a score himself. The rookies, James Houston, Josh Paschal, Aiden Hutchinson, all getting in on the mix of the backfield in the sacks. Hutch also added an INT. Falcons and Cards, a gross game. How about David Blau leading the Arizona Cardinals, although they would fall 20-19. 222 and a touchdown for Mr. Blau, the former Detroit Lion. Falcons improved to 6-10 on the year. The Chiefs 27-24 winners over the Denver Broncos. Boy, the Chiefs are really having some trouble trying to cover these big spreads, aren't they? My goodness. However, Kansas City 13-3 on the year, 7-1 at home. Impressive. Patriots beat the Dolphins 23-21. Mac Jones, 203 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air for Mac. The New York Giants beat the Indianapolis Colts 38-10, punching their ticket to the playoffs. Allegedly, according to sources, Danny Dimes and Saquon both getting new deals this offseason. We'll have to wait and see. Philadelphia Eagles, with Gardner Minshew in, Jalen Hurts out, they fall to the New Orleans Saints 20-10. It wouldn't matter, however, the Buccaneers clinch the NFC South with a 30-24 win over the Carolina Panthers. Tom Brady's 432 yards and 3 touchdowns leading the way. Mike Evans, 10 catches, 207 yards, 3 scores. That's what Buccaneer fans have been waiting for. That's what his fantasy owners have been waiting for. Big-time game for Mike Evans and the Browns. Now,
Bill just called. Hum that tater.
Hum that tater, baby. Hum that tater. The Browns, that's who I was going to. Bellino's Brownies, 24-10 winners over the Commandos. The Browns now 7-9. Deshaun Watson, 169 yards and 3 scores through the air. Nick Chubb had 104 yards on the ground on 14 carries. And Nick Chubb, 3 catches, 105 yards, 2 scores for the Brownies, who beat the Commanders. Oh, why couldn't the Commanders just beat the Giants? Why did they have to tie that football game? Jaguars smoked the Texans with everything on the line. 31-3. It was all Jacksonville. How about Jared Stidham taking on Brock Purdy? My goodness, an overtime finish that the 49ers beating the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas, 37-34. Run CMC, 19 carries, 121 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams had 2 receiving touchdowns on 153 yards. Good game for Stidham, who was 23 of 34 for 365 and 3 touchdowns. No Derek Carr, obviously he was benched. Seahawks smoked the Jets 23-6. Jets stink. Sorry about it, Mike White. 240 and 2 picks, not good. How about Kenneth Walker, the Michigan State Spartan, 23 carries, 133 yards on the ground. Green Bay Packers drilled the Minnesota Vikings 41-17, and it wasn't even that close. 14 points in the 4th and final frame for the Vikings to make it look respectable. It was all Packers all game long. Aaron Jones getting more in the mix, 111 yards on the ground. They're going to meet the Lions. That game was flexed to this Sunday night football game, 8:20, with the entire country in all their eyes to see what happens if the Lions can play spoiler, if the Lions can punch their ticket, if the Green Bay Packers can punch their ticket to the playoffs. They were dead in the water, but now they're alive at 8-8. Chargers smoked the Rams 31-10. Justin Herbert, he's good at football. 212 through the air, 2 touchdowns. They win by 21 points. Steelers beat the Ravens 16-13. Huge game for Kenny Pickett and company. He did throw a touchdown pass, which was nice. They went on the road. They beat Baltimore, a very meaningful game for Baltimore, who came up very short. And now we have to wait to see how the NFL handles what happened last night. The Bills-Bengals game was postponed. Damar Hamlin went down into cardiac arrest. He is in critical condition right now. His heartbeat was restored on the field. He was taken off the field in an ambulance. The NFL called the game. And what makes this a very, very difficult situation, let's look first at obviously for Damar Hamlin, you want him to be okay, right? Playing football in the future, it really was a life or death situation last night. So the paramedics and those taking care, we need to, shine some light on them to be able to get him the CPR necessary to get his heart beating again, to get him to the hospital, and now to get him in the care of medical professionals there at UC. That was obviously priority number one. Now when we look at this from the league's view, right, this is all happening in real time, right? So, it's always dangerous to share your opinion on a matter which, has such grave implications for those that are involved. At first, the NFL was going to go with a 5-minute recess and then try to play again, and then they realized that was probably not going to happen. The coaches, Cincinnati's coaching staff linking up with Buffalo's coaching staff, they discussed it. There was a video of, the teams after they had went, into the tunnel, the teams, league personnel, front office personnel from both teams, everybody on the phone trying to figure out in real time how this is going to happen. What happens next? What are we going to do? Right? So if we take Damar Hamlin out of the equation at this point, what you have here is Buffalo, who they have already, they have clinched. They have their division. They are the 2 seed as of right now. Had they lost that game to Cincinnati, how does that affect seeding purposes moving forward in the playoffs? Plus Cincinnati, if they lost that game to Buffalo, how does that affect their intra-division rival with the Baltimore Ravens, who have clinched the playoff berth at 10-6, awaiting the outcome of Cincinnati and Buffalo? This isn't something that is as easy as rescheduling a Zoom, right? It's just now you are working with the playoffs that are the week after next. This is week 17. There's no time to buy anywhere. Who knows what is going to happen with a game of this magnitude? And how all of that got just pushed to the side because of, the overwhelming care and concern for Damar Hamlin, which his health is first and foremost the priority. Secondarily, what does the NFL do now? From a league standpoint, how do they get this game? Like, how are they going to play this game? Because that game's Monday Night Football. You're going to try to get this game. Are they going to play tonight? Are they going to play tomorrow? Now you have a shortened week leading into the 18th and final week of the season. Like, this is a logistical nightmare outside of the nightmare that's taking place for Damar Hamlin's family. I'm just looking at this from a league standpoint right now.
And even if they decided, like, hey, we'll play today, Buffalo, most of the team flew back last night.
Really? That I did not know.
Yeah, so I think a few coaches, maybe a few players stay behind, but majority of the team flew back to Buffalo. Because you also have to think, like, where are they going to get hotel rooms for 100+ people on a minute notice?
Yeah, it's a debacle. It's if you're the NFL, I mean, the league office, they probably haven't slept. I mean, as they try to figure out what is the best way to try to go forward and move forward with this. I don't know. Do you just do you mark it up as a tie?
You just straight up just cancel it and just say it's a no contest. And those teams have played, 16 games instead of 17. Then you go on winning percentage.
Could do that.
That way it's just, you don't have to worry about it. It does affect seeding, but, no team is benefiting from it.
Yeah, it's a very peculiar situation. One sports media figure tweeted an opinion that took a lot of backlash. We'll jump into that. Plus, these Detroit Lions with a big-time victory over the Chicago Bears. What a great celebratory Sunday it was here on a Victory Monday. We'll get to all that more next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Get more for your money and kick off the new year with Meijer. Start your wellness journey with buy one, get one free vitamins or supplements. And enjoy delicious meals with deals like 80% lean ground beef for $2.99 per pound. Taylor Farm salad chopped kids, 2 for $6. And lean cuisine or Stouffer's frozen meals, just $2.48 with M-Perks. Plus, pay the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
When you're in construction, you know that every minute matters and every dollar counts. You've got materials to purchase, employees to pay, and deadlines to meet. What you don't have is time to worry about your accounting, taxes, or ways to grow your business. That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is construction, our business is helping you run your business better. From tax planning, payroll processing, or R&D credit studies, we're here for you with concrete advice and answers. Let us help you build a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're a subcontractor, developer, architect, or engineer, of all the things you build, make your business the strongest. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you all ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. A reminder for our friends in Northwest Ohio, went live yesterday, so you can join up new customers. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE. Place a $5 pregame moneyline wager on any NBA team to win. Get $150 in free bets. When they do, promo code HUGE. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Take a look at the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. Bonus issued as free bets. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/basketball terms. Gentlemen, we have not yet played it today, so let's do it. Let's celebrate, shall we?
Let's go, Lions fans! Get a bunch of seats! Get a bunch of seats! Forward on the field, a charging team that will not yield. And with the blue and silver wave, everybody stand into the brave. Rah, rah, rah! Go hard with the game. With honor you will keep your faith. Down the field and gain a Lions victory. Go Lions!
Ah, yes, what a day. What a day on Sunday. Boy, would that be something. My goodness, what a just a steamrolling effort there for the Detroit Lions over the Chicago Bears. And the Lions remain one of three teams alive fighting for the berth. They find themselves as the 8th seed right now, winning the head-to-head tiebreaker over Green Bay. Based on that head-to-head winning percentage, Seattle is the 7th seed, would be the last team in. They win the tiebreak over Detroit based on head-to-head winning percentage. A divisional tiebreak was initially used to eliminate Green Bay. Detroit wins the tiebreak over Green Bay based on their head-to-head percentage, which is what I said. So that's how we find ourselves here. Giants get in at 9-6-1. Commanders eliminated themselves 7-8-1. And then you have 8-8 Seattle, 8-8 Detroit, 8-8 Green Bay. Detroit beat Green Bay. Seattle beat Detroit. Whew. And we have ourselves a mess on our hands going into the 18th and final week. Let's get to Freddie the Pizza Man, who is on hold right now. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
What?
Still not 100%, though. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm very, very cold. I don't know why that is.
You know, it's funny that song that you just played, I was surprised. You didn't play it last week. I was just wondering. You didn't play it last week.
Well, we only play it when they win.
Oh, I got you.
You haven't picked up on that by now? It's been an entire season. So it's 17 weeks. Did we play it after the bye week?
Well, you know, I don't pay attention. I don't really pay attention.
Oh.
But, hey, first of all, I'd like to say I was at the game on Sunday, and I focused on Bellino the whole time.
That was a mistake.
I really mean this, because everyone knows. I got so much respect for Bellino. He did such a great job. He really did. I mean, I've been to a game when I've seen you. I didn't know you, but now I know you. It's different. You did a really good job. And the expression on Jake Reitman's grandparents.
Oh, was that great or what?
It was incredible. You did such a great job with the Barry Sanders thing, and there was another one that you did. I couldn't remember. But,
two things real quick. With Reitma's grandparents, who were they had been season ticket holders for 52 seasons. So we gave them a trip to the Super Bowl 57, which is an awesome giveaway. Looking back at Bleacher Report Gridiron, which is the NFL page for the Bleacher Report, they picked it up and ran with it. Looking back at it, I wish I wouldn't have read as much, but there was so much copy to read, there's so much that I had to get through, and that's why I was trying to moonwalk out of the camera shot there as I was reading. I was trying to slide out so our cheerleaders could slide in with the tickets and surprise them. That was one. And then two, with Barry Sanders, it's always like, hey, here comes Barry Sanders. Like, no, this is the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the greatest running back ever, Barry Sanders. We got to put a little juice. And I thought that, no one was going to be able to hear what was going on down there in the field anyways, because the fans were so elated to see Barry down there with his helmet passing out those envelopes that, it was great.
Yeah, you did, and I mean it. You did a really good job. Really, really good job. I mean that
thanks
from the
very
bottom
much.
of my heart. You really do. Now, Ford Field, I don't care what anybody says. That place is not even half as loud as the Silverdome. So not even half as loud as the Silverdome.
Well, you got 30,000 less people.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. It's just
it is. They could seat, what, 90,000 in the Silverdome?
No, it was like I think it was 82. I was at that game when the Celtics played the Pistons in '86 when they had like 80,000 or whatever it was. But no, it's just different because you go to Ford Field. There's just so many things to do. You can buy a daiquiri, you can buy a Bloody Mary, and just have a party. Silverdome, you went there to watch football and spit at the other team and go home. It's a little
Freddie,
different.
I hate to tell you this, but that's sports in a nutshell now. Now it's all. I mean, Jacksonville put pools in the stadium for God's sakes.
You're 100% right. So that's kind of. I think that's where the difference is.
It bothers me.
It does bother me too. It does. I give a lot of respect to the people that go every week, every game, battle through those lines, the bathrooms, and the parking. I mean, I had everything taken care of. I'm like, and that was hard enough. I'm like that. I couldn't do it. I'm telling you, I just couldn't do it. But kudos to those people. But let's see what happens this Sunday. I mean, I know you said something earlier to USA. I don't know. I'm gonna call you Steak Scott. Campbell took a lot of heat earlier. Listen, he deserved that heat because we shouldn't be here. They should have had a couple wins. I'm not gonna go back, but we shouldn't be here. We should be in a position. I'll tell you why. Because there's no guarantees next year. Okay, you got to remember we're gonna lose coaches. There's a lot of rookies on his team that's doing really good, and there's such a thing called sophomore jinx. Now, you worry a little bit. So you never get to this point. It's hard enough to get to this point. When you get there, you got to take advantage of it. I'm pissed that we got to rely on the Rams to win. I'm pissed about that because I don't like relying on anyone to do anything for me. I want to take care of my own business and handle it and be done with it. Now, they put themselves in this position. I just want them to win in Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers because they need the game as well, too. So that's important to me. I don't care what the Rams in Seattle do, even though we're going to know the NFL screwed us again. They're going to know the game should have been at 4 o'clock. But I just want to go beat Aaron Rodgers and the bully because they need the game as well, too. So that's what I'm hoping for. Now, on Michigan, I got a name for a coach for you guys when Harbaugh leaves.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Charles Woodson. And hear me out. I want you to hear me out. Just hold on. Hear me out. Hey, by the way, Michigan fans, what a game. I'll tell you. What a game. All I can think about was Cade McNamara. He definitely wouldn't throw those pick sixes. But don't you remember when you said, yeah, Cade was good, but our guy's going to be better? Where did we hear that before? Beeline and Howard. So, Charles Woodson, this guy, now, Colorado just hired the best cornerback ever in football. The other team, Ed Reed, best safety ever to play football. I think Charles Woodson's both. He's the best safety and the best corner ever played in the NFL. I think you bring him to Michigan, I think he would be great there. He could bring in his coaching staff, bring in Marcus Ray, maybe on the defensive side. And I think you might have something there. You might be able to compete with Ohio State for the next 10 years, Anthony. What do you think about Charles Woodson?
I haven't even thought about it. So on the surface, great. Wolverine's legend. Doesn't always
Charles
go
Woodson
to
coached
plan.
in the last 10 years, or would this be Jeff Saturday?
Does Charles Woodson even want to coach? Like, why would you even want to get involved with this? That's really my biggest question. Like, would you even you want to leave the TV booth to go deal with this crap every year? Like, I don't know.
Has Gerard Howard ever coached before he took the Michigan job?
He was in Miami.
Yeah. He was in Miami.
He was assistant coach. Ed Reed was an assistant coach at the University of Miami and worked with the Bills. Deion Sanders was coaching high school.
Okay. So they got some. Okay, so they have some pedigree under their belt. Okay, I think Charles Woodson would be a great name for Michigan. I think he would step in and do really well. I really do. I believe that.
Why are you looking for a new head coach, Freddie?
Oh, he's leaving, buddy. There's no doubt he's leaving. He's leaving.
Wow. Where do you think he's going?
Well, I think everyone keeps saying Indy, which makes sense because I think he wants to stay close to home. It makes a lot of sense. Stay close. Why go to Denver? You want to stay close to home, live in Ann Arbor. I don't blame him. To me, you watch out for the Cleveland Browns. I'm telling you, watch out for the Browns. They got a quarterback. They got a running game. They got a defense. I'm telling you. And I think competing against his brother, I think he's still pissed off. His brother took a Super Bowl. So that's a competitive guy there. So this is my opinion. But,
well, I'll tell you this much. If he does decide to go, and I guess yesterday would have officially ended Harbaugh Watch Day 1, now that we're into Day 2, the rumor mill's starting back up. It's always a good thing when your coach is rumored to be going to the next level. That's always a positive. If he decides to go and wants to go, I fully support him going.
Well, let me ask you, Anthony. Let me ask you real quick, and I'll get off the phone line. If you had to pick of 3 jobs, Denver, Indianapolis, or Cleveland, which one would you take?
Indy's got the weakest division. You do have Jonathan Taylor there. You've got some, you've got Leonard. You got some good playmakers on the defensive side. Cleveland's the most ready to go in a division that is ripe for the taking, depending on what happens there with his brother in Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, the quarterback situation. I can't believe they haven't figured that out. So I would say that the Browns have the best roster available. The Colts have the best division available. Denver, I wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, and I'm with you. And I think Cleveland would be perfect. I mean, he still can live in Ann Arbor. I mean, he obviously loves Ann Arbor. It's close to home, whether you drive or fly. And he wouldn't have to uproot his family too much, just my opinion. But
his family's in California, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought that they had a bulk of them had gone back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever came back to Ann Arbor. There was when things weren't going well. That's not a. If you have a family and you have young kids and your team and you're a high-profile coach and your team isn't playing well, that's the last thing you want is to have your family nearby. Like if they're isolated, they're secluded, they're away from having to hear, your son, little Timmy, and little Timmy's got to go into class every day and hear from little Billy because little Billy's dad says, your dad sucks. Like that's not a great environment.
Well, how about little JJ? He uses his little Instagram stories to mock Cade McNamara, and then he mocked.
When did he mock Cade McNamara?
Oh, when he got named the starter.
What did he say?
Oh, he just said he put some. I can't remember the term for it, but he used some. Oh man, it's going to come to me. I have to text him tomorrow because I can't remember on the fly.
So he's going to get named the starter, and he's not supposed to be happy about that?
Of course he's supposed to be happy, but you don't take a shot. I mean, are you happy that he took a shot at TCU saying that 3-3-5, we're going to smash you, like, we're going to show you what the Big Ten's all about before the game? Are you happy about that?
Oh, they didn't show anything.
No, I know, but he said that before the game.
It doesn't. None of that bothers me, Freddie. None of that gets to me. And him posting on his Instagram about him being the starter, I never saw a shot taken at Cade.
He didn't post that he was the starter. He sent out I can't remember what the name of it is. I can't remember. It's on the fly. I apologize, but I have to text it to you tomorrow. But he sent out this post, and it was kind of cryptic, and it was I can't remember what it was, but it had to do with Cade Merrick. It was pretty obvious it had to do with Cade. But I'm glad to see Cade, on his feet and doing well. So bring home Charles Woodson. I think that would be kind of neat. I always like Charles Woodson. Him and his little ascot. I love those things, man. Love them.
Would he wear that on the sidelines? Maybe bring back the old fedora, very very Landry-esque.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be something?
That would actually make me back a Michigan fan again. I would love it.
No headset. No headset. Just a play sheet, just chewing people out as they come off the field.
Oh, dude, that would be sweet. I would love it.
Sport coat, ascot, fedora, Charles Woodson.
And Anthony Bellino as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, right. No, thank you.
Have a good day. I'm taking up too much time. See you.
All right, we'll see you. There he goes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait and see what the alleged cryptic post was from JJ.
Well, good
McCarthy.
luck. If that was a story, it's like, yeah, man, I'll view that in however many days it's been.
I don't even remember seeing anything about that.
I don't know. I barely follow
I hate following kids on social media.
Yeah. It's like I'll follow the Michigan State guys. I might follow. I follow them when it comes time to announcing for NFL draft or NBA draft time, and then Like, I don't follow them while they play.
The only Michigan players I follow are Michigan players that are alums that I know personally. So like Khalid Hill, Chris Wormley, Jake Butt, guys like that. I'm not following Eric All on social media. I'm just not going to. Like, somebody else can do it for me. And they can post about him going to Iowa with Cade McNamara, and it's going to work out really well. It's going to be good for the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's going to be great. It's going to be good for both of them. But as to what took place there for Michigan and TCU, watching that football game, I got to give credit to the Ohio State Buckeyes too. I know I can't stand them, but they played a hell of a football game. They were a lot more competitive in that game than I thought they were going to be, losing by just 1 point to Georgia. Offense came out swinging. Do you think that was targeting on Marvin Harrison Jr. in the back of the end zone? Did you see the play?
No, so this game I was very in and out of watching.
Because you were in and out of consciousness, partying like an animal?
Nope.
Oh.
I was slowing down at this point. Didn't have a drink after the Michigan game because I had plenty during. So, but it was more of, at that point, all the Michigan people there were on like hour 2 of ranting and complaining.
Grieving?
Yeah. So,
were your Michigan people, were they outspoken? Were they loud? Were they mad? Or were they more like the silent, quiet, like just sitting there in shock?
It was like half and half. There's one, it was just very loud, like when, the game ended, some beers were thrown across the living room. And then there's another one just kind of stewing in the corner by himself. And he's a bit bigger of a guy. I look at him, I go, if you harness this energy for 30 more minutes, you're going to have a six-pack. And he just started laughing.
Or he's going to have a problem.
Right? But it was like a mixture of both. And you know me on the show, it's like, I try to stay out of it, and then I just like to like poke that little needle here and there. And so I was trying to do that just to kind of break the tension between the two of them. Because we had, the guy that was sitting and stewing, he was a Cade believer. So the whole game was like, Cade made that. I think it was more to annoy the other Michigan fan who just, it's everyone else's fault. It's not Michigan's fault that the game doesn't go their way.
One of those.
Yeah. So I just sit there and try to irk both of them.
I had a situation where I was hearing a young lady yell, "Why do they just run it up the middle?" So you can imagine where I was at, looking at my buddy's wife, just shaking my head, going, "How are you going to explain this to her? Or are we going to listen to this for 4 quarters? Are you going to take care of this, or And then you get in that spot where everybody wants to ask you your thoughts. Michigan got outplayed by TCU. That's what it was. Anything that could have went wrong in that football game for the Maize and Blue. And at least we were able to rally and rebound with a Honolulu Blue and Silver victory on Sunday. For Dana, Ryan, and Anthony, so long. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, Michigan, let's go big. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking real big-time winning on the hottest slots and table games on one incredible app, Eagle Casino and Sports.
Sign up now and get up to $1,500. That's right. We'll match your first 2 deposits for up to $1,500, plus 100 free spins.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
Get more for your money and kick off the new year with Meijer. Start your wellness journey with buy one, get one free vitamins or supplements. And enjoy delicious meals with deals like 80% lean ground beef for $2.99 per pound. Taylor Farms salad chopped kids, 2 for $6. And lean cuisine or Stouffer's frozen meals, just $2.48 with M-Perks. Plus, pay the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
They say consistency is the key to success. they weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids. They now have merged with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of the state, and they're stronger than ever before in the state of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast when it comes to your accounting and business needs. Find out more at beangarter.com. That's BEENEGARTR.com. Also, Thomas stepped up with $1,500 in cash in the Beat Huge Pro Football Picks contest. Now, if you beat my picks just 1 week, you'll be in the drawing at the end of the pro football season for $1,500 in cash from Tom Rosenbach and Bean Garter. Thursday night game is always a freebie. You have until Sunday morning to play every week through the big game. You can play once or play every week. Do what you want to, but get your